Hello, 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 everyone. Hopefully, I can be heard okay. Let me just adjust my microphone here. All right. Today, I sound great, thank you, or I sound garat, but I will accept that as well. Today, we're going to be working on something very important in open world games. Uh, and that is sightlines. Um, so I realized this a little bit like yesterday. Well, I mean, I've known this, but basically, I booted up Breath of the Wild yesterday, just to take a look at how that type of thing was being done, and I actually realized the island here is probably more hilly than it should be. And that's not to say that there's too many hills. It's just that sort of the hills block things. So if I was to look at Breath of the Wild, and actually let's see if we can pull up a picture. If I was to look at a game that did this well, let me just type this in. If my internet is... Okay. Yeah. Okay, so... If many of you, I hope, have played this game. Basically, this is Hyrule Field. One thing you'll notice is that it's actually pretty flat. Um, so this is a very vertical game. So it's not about it's not necessarily about having verticality or not having verticality, like not having mountains or having mountains. It's that the game is kind of a series of plateaus, if it were, because that gives you the best opportunity to be able to see things in the distance. And as you can see, like, this is actually a really good example here, because like just from this vantage point, you can see here we got one of the towers. I got another tower over here. You got Death Mountain and you got Hyrule Castle, and you can see them all from here, right? Similarly, this is directly on the ground, and you can still see Death Mountain and Hyrule Castle. So actually, let's look at a different game that I just finished playing about a week ago. So that's Fallout New Vegas. Let's look at what the Mojave Wasteland looks like. It's probably not quite as good, but you can see you have the NCR camp over here, and the whole thing's very flat, basically. There are mountains, but it is flat. So I think... and it's not necessarily just that it's flat, it's that there's not a lot of obstructions to your view, right? And I think that's actually... Yeah, and here's another example. In the Mojave Wasteland, you can see there's the tower for the Lucky 38 in New Vegas. You can see the landmarks importantly. Now, if we go back to ASO here, what can we see from here? So I did actually work on this a little bit yesterday, but basically, we can see the waterfall over here, and we can see the Sorcerer's Tower. We can see Ziz over here, but we can't see the fort. That's probably fine for here. We can't see the fort. We can't see the ship. So this is fine. But if I keep walking, and I go down into this sort of depression here, we can actually find that I can't see the waterfall anymore. Uh, I guess I can see the arch over there. I can see the tower, but that's just because it's really tall. So I think, because if you look at Hyrule Field, like I was mentioning, Hyrule Field doesn't really dip down below and hide things. So I think what we need to do is we need to flatten the top of this, and we need to raise the bottom level up a little bit here, just to keep it more flat. And we can mostly do that along the path. Like, if you stray from the path, then, like, your sight lines probably aren't going to be as good. But once again, I think it's pretty important that we be able to see all the different things that you might want to go to from most places. Now, before we get into that, I do have soda today, or I guess it's soda. We are revisiting the nation of Japan, and I have something very odd here. This is it's another ramune. It is a whiskey-flavored soda, which is not alcoholic. There's no whiskey in here, but it's a ramune allegedly flavored like a whiskey highball. I don't know. We will see. We will see. Now, if you're not familiar with ramune, they have a very strange opening mechanism. You get this cap that is attached to the top. You don't just open it like a regular bottle. You need to pop this weird thing out, and then you have this little key. And then you put the key into the top of the bottle here. Hopefully you can see that. And then you push down with a decent amount of force, and the marble falls out, and you have your soda. So kind of a weird thing. I don't know. It works. Japan is interesting. Oh, wow. There's no sugar in that, like, at all. It is like just like a whiskey highball. I mean, it doesn't taste like one. It tastes a little bit like one. Like, you can taste Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's clearly not alcoholic. It doesn't taste like alcohol. But there's definitely I can see the intent here. Not bad. Interesting entry from the nation of Japan again. But why don't we get started on doing the terrain sculpting? So I'm gonna quit out of the game temporarily here. I'm actually we're gonna get out of full screen mode because I think it's gonna cause us some problems. But anyway, here we go. This is a reference here. This is a reference here. And I think we can get started. All right, so let's go to the game. Get into it. All right. Let's revisit where we were. We were in the... So, it's this depression right here where Carmen is. There's no need for this. Because one of the reasons why this happened was because basically... Why there's so many dips, like, is that basically when I designed the terrain... I just used Perlin noise. So it's like, it just generated a bunch of, really... So Perlin noise, if you're not familiar, it's a technique to basically, create random landscapes and other things. And so I used that for the base landscape. And then I started sculpting into it. And the thing is, in real life, there's like erosion and things, which carries material from the tops of high points and kind of fills in the bottom points, so it kind of flattens out over time. So yeah, that's what we need to sort of account for, because yeah, in real life you tend to get flat things and then it goes up, and then another flat thing. Yeah. So, let's go to the terrain brush. If I can, terrain. And now we're in sculpting mode. One moment. And we'll go to free camera, and then we will start leveling off the top of this. So, ideally, I think this should go up, but it should be flat on top. So if we go to the side here, we can see it goes in and out a bunch. So I'm going to go to subtract. I'm going to increase the brush size quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and use the quadratic fall off. And then we can start cutting into the terrain. So it just like that. And then once we can see what's behind it, that is going to help a lot, I think. So, yeah, we're just cutting away here. Code an erosion simulator. I actually did think about that. It ended up not being too useful. The problem is that, like, I need control over all this stuff. So, like, the time that an erosion simulator would have been useful has already passed. So, like, it would have been useful if I started using it before I started carving all the things. But now if I run the erosion simulator, it's going to kind of fill in a lot of the things that I intentionally did. Oh, it's Firefly. Welcome, Firefly. Actually, we should go in window mode here so that we stop getting flicker. Yeah, so, yeah, that's what I was saying. There's kind of a... the erosion simulator wouldn't have been super useful at this point in time. But yeah. So we're sort of cutting off that. I'm going to go back down here and see if our see what the silhouette looks like. Yeah. Okay, this guy way too tall. We do not need it to be this tall. And we're obviously going to adjust where those rocks are and everything afterwards, and the tree. But yeah, just stand over here and we just start cutting it off. I could probably increase the strength here to make it go a little bit faster. Yeah. Okay. And then we'll adjust the tree after this. So now that I've kind of got the profile that I want, now we're going to switch brushes from subtract into flatten. And what flatten does is it kind of... and we're going to start seeing pop in because we need to hit rebuild occluders. Basically, the occlusion culling system needs to be informed when the terrain changes because it needs to know what's behind it. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know. But yeah, this is kind of cap off our little hill here. But what flatten does is it basically just takes either side and matches it to the midpoint, right? So now we still have a hill, but the hill is flat on top, more or less. Let's keep doing that. And... okay, cool. So now... let's save that. And then we can move this... we can move these things down. So I'm going to pull that. Yeah. Oh, I'm just gonna mention this little fancy thing that I added. I added a little thing that I found was super interesting, and basically, you often want to be able to just move things along one axis quickly instead of having to like go into translation mode and then pick the manipulator and then move them. I bound it so that if I hit Alt, each of the 3 buttons on my mouse, left, middle, and right, correspond to a X, Y, or Z axis. So if I hit Alt and then I push up and down, it moves along the Y axis. If I hit if I hit left click, it moves along the X axis, and if I hit right click, it moves along the Z axis. Which is super handy. It's like a lot faster to do it. This is actually a convention that comes from Alias. If you're familiar with that, that's one of the that's something that that's one of the work projects that I have. Yeah. So let's save this. And then let's go back to Luigi's point of view and see. It's still blocking our view because I actually think this thing that he's standing on also needs to go up. So I'm going to go back to terrain. I'm going to go to add. And we're just going to start bringing this whole section up. And he's going to pop out of there eventually. But basically, this can go up too. Because the thing is, this dips down and then it immediately dips back up, right? So, probably best if we just leave it up. Okay, cool. Then I can take my flatten brush and flatten it out here. And we can see that now that Luigi's like fully underground, it means we've moved at least his entire full height. So let's go back to oopsies. Now we're now we got to pull him out. Come on. Transform. There we go. Okay. We can almost see the waterfall. But it is a lot flatter. Hopefully you can see. Oh, is that a... So, and we want to also pull this up, probably, this whole section here. So I'm going to pull this rock all the way up here. And then I'm going to go back to terrain. And then we're going to kind of fill in. And we will need to adjust some of the things that just got stuck underground. Specifically the pepper pepper plants. Just got submerged. And we can also take away some of this, and maybe we'll see the waterfall. I'm going to try to cut it down all the way to the point where maybe we can see the top of the waterfall. Which is over this way somewhere. Got to be close. What are we missing? Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, we're almost... I think we need to adjust the occluders. Yeah, because the waterfall is going to be right here. Oh, I see. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to see it because it's actually behind that, which I guess we can't really do much about. But I think it's still good to level this off a little bit, because then we can see that actually there's a whole other section in here that maybe we might want to go check out. So now we're going to go back to flatten, and we're going to flatten it. And there's also a smooth brush, which is actually probably what we want for this section. So our sight lines should be massively improved now, I think. We should be able to see a hell of a lot more. In fact, I'm actually not sure that this entire thing needs to be here at all either. So we can probably pull that down. Okay. Save that. And then we're gonna take a, we're gonna fix some of these some of these things that need to be moved, like that tree here. This floating rock, we're gonna move that down. And then there's some peppers that got moved around, so I'm gonna search for the habanero. Jump to. Yeah, so this guy should be moved up a bit. This guy is completely underground. Oh, wait, no, he's not. He's just far away. Where we go? Yeah, what's this one? Over here, that's fine. Yeah, this is underground, though. Pull that up. That is fine. Yeah, this guy is underground. So pull him up. And we probably need to flatten this area a little bit better. So let's go back to terrain. Smooth that out a bit. And this piece of floating grass, I think we just want to delete that. Where is it? Oh. I don't think we need that one. All right, so let's go back to Luigi's view. Okay, cool. So I'm going to walk in all the way, and we're going to see what we can see from any given place. But okay, so we're coming. Nope, that guy can see us. I'm gonna actually go all the way from. We're gonna take a walk all the way from down on the beach. Okay. One second. I'm gonna save, and then I'm going to rebuild all the occluders and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So we're coming up here. We can't see anything. That's fine. Because at this point, we don't want to distract the player with all sorts of crazy stuff to go, because we just want them to talk to Vinny. But as soon as they talk to Vinny here, now what can we see? We can see the smoke. That's important. Oh, this guy's coming at us. We will get rid of him. Just teleport him over here for now. Now, we can see the smoke. We can see the waterfall. We can't see the fort, I think that's fine. But, so there's two places we could go. We could go over here, we could go over here. At this point, I don't really care which way you go. But I assume most players are gonna come this way because it's closer. So they can only see him. But this little section is now blocking anything we can see in that direction, which I don't really like. And we can't see the waterfall anymore. And we can't even see the tower. We can see Ziz. But I'm just gonna take a little bit off here. And hopefully clear. Okay, now we can see the tower at least, which I like. But yeah, I think you should be able to see at least 2 landmarks from wherever you are. So here we can see the tower and we can see the fire. And we can see the fort, actually, too, which is good. Okay, so we keep moving along. We keep walking. This goes up a little bit too much. Also, walking on an incline is annoying. So the paths should probably be a little bit flatter than they are. So I think I'm going to subtract a little bit from here. And we're going to make it a little bit more gradual slope. Because this is going up, but it's just come back down on the other side. So, like, we can make it a little bit flatter. So, flatten. It just makes it easier to navigate, I think, because you can walking along a flat path is a little bit easier. Yeah, we can just cut this whole section away here. And I'm going to leave this side of this slope here. But I'm going to cut away a lot of this, I think. Because all this is doing is blocking our sight lines. Because we want to be able to see Carmen, probably, at this point. Or at least soon. So we keep cutting away, and then let's go to flatten. And we can sort of flatten this away. Also, people and animals would walk around the tiny ridge so the path wouldn't be going uphill and downhill in such short succession. Exactly. It would sort of flatten out. Smooth that a little bit. Oh, not smooth. I wanted to flatten or subtract. And yeah, let's get a little bit more tower in the view. Great. Then flatten. We can increase the strength on this to and increase the size probably as well. And one thing I like to do is that whenever we have sort of like this embank, I don't know what you call this, like a little, not like a cliff, but like oh, and you can see the occlusion culling not knowing what to do here because we need to rebuild the occluders. So yeah, whenever we have this sort of shape here, one thing I like to do is take the terrain paint or texture paint. We're gonna sample whatever palette we have here. Whoopsies. Put that back in, and then I'm gonna put along the thing here. Maybe not rocks. Actually, the rocks don't quite seem right. I feel like here we should have. I'm gonna switch this to this texture. decrease the size of the brush and the strength, and then we can kind of paint in this more dirt texture along the side here. Because I think grass would not necessarily be growing on such a steep section here. But obviously, I also think I want to... I want to just reduce the strength of that a little bit. So, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's go back to smooth. We're going to tweak some of these little bits in here. The sharp edges can come off. Cool. Now, so much more open feeling, I think. We can big brush, smooth this whole thing here. Flatten. Okay, cool. So, I think we can flatten the top of this as well. Increase the size. Okay, cool. So now we can see, and then I want to smooth that as well. Make it just a very gentle slope. Let's zoom all the way out here. Very gentle. Decrease the strength to that. Cool. Okay. Let's go back to our view. Now, okay, so we got how many land? Okay, I gotta fix this. Oopsies. I gotta fix this rock here, and there's a fern there too, which is gonna be hard to find. So one problem with the editor is that I can only select with the mouse picking objects that have a collider, which is a problem. Because ferns, for example, do not have colliders. And so if I want to pick them and move them, I have to find them in the objects list here, which is not ideal because there's a shit ton of ferns. So yeah. All right. So, oh god, this anthurium too. Actually, we can narrow it down a little bit. Because... Okay, wait, was that it? No, that's not the one. There it is. Okay. Save that. Move this guy down a little bit. Okay, so here we go. This is probably too low here, because, like, look at all... Yeah, so I'm going to move... I'm going to add some... Because this just goes down and then straight back up. So it's not really serving a purpose. So we're going to add some more height to it to sort of hopefully be able to see for further up here. Okay, so let's flatten that. And then we're going to need to fix the barrel as well. And I think it's okay if we need to dip down to sort of get into this little hidden cave situation here. Because that's clearly a feature. Let's smooth it a little bit. Yeah. And then... My god, fucking boar. Now let's get this guy. Move him up. Also, let's have him be placed vertically. Oh my god. This boar is annoying me. Let's teleport him out of here. Alright. I wanted this facing upward. Move the rock too. And then there was a little bit of another rock, because one thing I found is that these barrels kept getting knocked over by the animals. So if I kind of wedge it in here, I think that might stop that from happening a little bit. Hopefully. All right. Now let's... Okay, so what can we see from here? We can see the smoke, and we can see the tower, and we can see the waterfall, and we can see a little bit of the fort, but it's not clear that that's what that is. But that is what that big rectangle thing is over in the distance here. That's the fort over there. Okay, so we got a fort, we got this thing, and we got the tower, and we got the smoke. Now we can't see the waterfall anymore. But I think that's fine, because we can see some other things. Okay. So. I kind of wonder if the boat should be further out into the ocean, because then we'd be able to see it better, I think. We can take a look at that later. Okay, so now I'm moving along here. I can see the smoke. I can see this floating rock, which shouldn't be floating. Let's bring that down. Save that. We can see Ziz. But yeah, over here we can't see much. We can pretty much just see the tower and Ziz. So I'm wondering if maybe being able to see the waterfall would be helpful here. So this guy is blocking us, this little hill here. I think it would be fine. One other thing we could do is we could add more landmarks, which would be helpful. So, maybe we could go into Blender and start modeling something. But for now, I'm going to flatten off the top of this hill a bit. Actually, it's a little bit dark at this time of day, so I think I'm going to save. And then I'm going to come back, because at the moment we don't have any way of resetting the time of day. Which is kind of annoying, but whatever. Alright, so. So this is where we were. And we're looking at that. So this is too high up here, I think. So let's go back to terrain, and let's start smoothing it again. Big brush. So yeah, we can at least see the waterfall from on top of this hill, which is good. And we can see the fort from here, which is good. So let's just keep smoothing this off. And once again, we can see our occlusion culling is being a little bit over eager. So we just need to take this and rebuild the occluder set. And then that will fix that. You know, one thing with these Remini sodas is I actually find you can't drink them very quickly. Like the marble kind of gets in there and limits the flow a little bit. Interesting. I don't know if that's intentional. Probably. So I think we should probably start working on words and letter skill issue. With the Ramonite soda? Yeah, I don't know. My entire experience drinking Ramonite sodas has been on this stream, basically, because I'm always looking for odd sodas. Welcome, Words and Letter, by the way. Always good to have new viewers. Okay, so I think maybe we should add another landmark of some kind. Probably like an interesting looking rock or something. And then we can always put something interesting at the foot of the interesting looking rock. Yeah. So, I guess let's take a look at okay, what do they have in like stacked rocks? What was the, like, what do they call this? Yeah, this kind of thing. Like a rock like this, or would be good. What's that called? I'm not doing a security check. What's that called? What's this? Okay. Not great. Okay, so it's in Monument Valley. Rocks. A butt. Okay. Interesting. It's an isolated hill with a steep, often vertical sides. Interesting. Okay, cool. Okay, and where do they have this? Interesting. Cool. Let's make something like this, because that's just cool, I think. Right. So let's open Blender. And let's start making some rocks. So I guess we'll start with a cube. Cube is close to a rock. And let's first scale it up. How big do we want to have it? It's going to obviously be small because this is not that big of an island. But where we got? Item. So it's 2 by 2 meters right now. I guess let's try making it 10 by 10 by 50 meters tall is probably too tall. Yeah, so let's 25 meters. Actually, that's too much. 20. Okay, cool. And then once it's in the game, we can sort of see what it looks like. But let's move that up so that the base is at 0, because that's where I want the origin to be. Let's I guess the formation is called a butt, so we're gonna call it that. Stone butt. Okay. Save. Oh wait, I should have saved it as butt. Buta? Butt? I don't know. Save. Okay, cool. I'm gonna go into edit mode here. Let me just get the reference on screen. So there's our reference. Save image. And let's drop that into Blender here. It can only be edited in object mode, of course. Drop that in there. And scale it up so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so. Yeah, we wanted to delete the bottom of that. Then we're going to go shade smooth. I'm going to add a modifier onto this while we're doing this. This is a super useful modifier, and I think everybody should know about it. It is called the weighted normal. So all of a sudden that does nothing at first. You see, it's not really doing anything. But if we go into edit mode, and then we add a edge loop in here, and then you can see that it's starting to do something. And now if we do that, you can see the difference on versus off. Let's bevel these a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this is weighted normal on, and this is weighted normal off. So you can kind of see it's like it's overly smooth with it off, but here you can actually start to see the corners are sort of rounded, which is I think what I would rather have. But in this case, I'm gonna do some cutting here. And I'm eventually going to make this quads again, but it's going to be triangles for a sec. And then I can take this guy. Is inset a good idea? Okay, here's what I'm gonna go. We're gonna fix this in a moment, but just want to start with a good topology here. Okay, so now okay, so that's good enough for the moment. The auto triangulate should. I'm also gonna add that mesh generate. Hey, Kyle, welcome back. Yeah, we're just working in Blender right now. We're building some rock formations, so you can see that's kind of what we're trying to get to. So I was going to go to generate triangulate, and then we want to keep normals, and beauty, and then we can see that Blender is going to automatically figure out the triangulation for that. So now I guess we just kind of add some edge loops and then start making it weird looking, like rocks. Pull it out this way, I think. And obviously we're gonna move it along this axis as well, but basically just keeping it simple. Okay. I think that's starting to look vaguely rock. Actually, that shouldn't have been moved up, but that's okay. Vaguely rock-like. Finished learning C++ fundamentals. Was too easy. There's no such thing as too easy. It means you had a good time, hopefully. Now, there's a lot more to C++ than the fundamentals, but you have made a good start, and I encourage you to keep going at it. Sorry, I want to snap to vertex here. Just keep this all at one level. So, let's map a texture to this. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a seam in here. Mark seam, and then I'm gonna mark a seam around here as well. We're gonna go into UV editing, and then we're gonna unwrap it. Now, we are going to save that. We're going to go into shading, and we're going to import a material from another rock that we have already created. Which is gonna, we're going to click append, then we're going to go to arch. Is it called? Yeah. And we're going to take the material here. And there we go. We have this rock material we started working with. Let's go back to UV editing. This is, we're going to try to make it so that we have no seams. So the way we do that is scale this to scale Y0 on this side. Scale Y0 on this side. Basically, we need the two vertices on either end of the thing to be aligned. So we're going to align these auto so that these on the texture side are aligned. Align auto. Align auto. And then, going to select this guy. Going to go to image, UV, sorry. UV pack islands. And I'm going to turn off rotate. So that's going to now expand it so that the edges are exactly at the edges of this. Now you can see that now all of a sudden along our seam, we have no seam. It took you 1 month to learn C++. Well, that's pretty impressive. Now you got to make a game. Are you on the GP Discord, Kyle? You should be, because I would love to see your progress on whatever you're working on. But anyway, so you can see our seam is gone. That's great. So now, as long as we scale up these UVs by an integer amount, I'm going to go to scale from the 2D cursor. As long as we increase it by like a 1, a 2, or a 3, like a whole number. I guess technically an integer as well, but I don't know why I would scale it by a negative number. Okay, so let's do scaled up to 4. So that means this texture repeats 4 times as it wraps around, which is cool. I have 5 years of easy to grasp any language. Well, that's good. Experience always helps. Cool. So, now, I think one of the problems here is just there's too many straight lines. So, I'm going to go into here, and we're just going to start pushing things one way or the other. And should I do the... No, I'm actually not going to correct the UVs. Because it's fine if they drift a little bit. So I'm just going to start pulling these in and out a little bit. Just randomly. I'm going to go to the normal mode so that it's now... I'm not going to push the ones along the seam. They're going to stay where they are. But yeah. Sure, I will share it. That's great. I love to see people working on new projects. There's a couple of people in this who regularly watch the stream who also post their projects, both on some stuff on my server, but also on the graphics programming Discord, which is a great server where a lot of us are from. Then I want to take. We're going to add another loop in here so that we can start moving it a little bit more, and another loop down here. And I think that should be good. Yours will be Vulkan. Great. Have you used Vulkan before? It's I've only messed around with it a little bit, but I decided that not to use Vulkan for this game because I would not have the time to do that and all the modeling work and game work that I was doing. But if it works for you, that's great. It's so good. Welcome to the government. 10 out of 10. It will make Vulkan ASO much better. Welcome to government form simulator. No, it will be for the first time. Well, good luck. I mean, from what I've seen, it's not like difficult per se, but it's just kind of annoying. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of boilerplate. I'm gonna add another loop in here just to kind of round this off. But yeah, and you know, if we move these just along their normal, it kind of works, I think. Once you get used to it, it's not so bad. Yeah, I'll have to take your word for that. But yeah, there was no way that I'd be doing that on ASO, and just because it takes so much time. I would like to do it after release, do some Vulkan, get a Vulkan renderer in here, but it's not in the cards for this moment. But we will get there. More like the startup is tedious, but only need to do it once, and it shows you how many directions you can go in. Yeah. But yeah, also, in terms of performance, I am actually getting really good performance out of OpenGL. So I could probably... there are a couple places that I think I could improve it with Vulkan, but I think for the most part, the performance would be pretty similar to what I'm already getting. Maybe a tiny bit better. And I'm going to cut in here. I'm wondering if I can get rid of this seam at the top. It's probably not that big of an issue because you're probably not going to be able to climb this. But maybe. So I'm going to loop around here, and then I'm going to just scale the whole thing in. We good? Let's check it versus our reference. It actually seems like there's more sort of craggy bits in here. So I'm gonna add one more loop in here. Then we're really gonna do something drastic on this one. I'm gonna pull it out like really far. Actually, I should have grabbed this one as well. Yeah, there we go. Then I'm gonna go along the bottom here. Scale Y. Sorry, scale Z 0. Oh god, we're in normal mode. We should be in global mode. Scale Z. Scale Z 0. I always do get confused because Blender is Z up, which is incorrect. Y up is the only coordinate system you should ever use. Blender is clearly wrong. But, you know, it is what it is. Okay, cut that in there. Then add one in here, I think. Yeah, that's kind of starting to look like a good rock. And then we can push this loop inward. And I'm just going to start cutting it to make it a better topology. So let's cut that one in here. Let's do cut like this, and then a cut like this. That's probably okay. Then cut this way, and cut this way, and now we're all quads. Beautiful quads. Cool. Now, I think we should just get it in the game here. Let's fix the UV unwrapping up here. So let's UV minimum stretch. That'll be fine for now. There is a seam, but it's not super obvious when viewed from a distance. Okay, so Z up is best. You're wrong. Y up is the only coordinate system. All right, stone butt. I guess this is a new model, so we're going to need to make a new folder for it in meshes. We're going to call it stone butt. Yeah, you are correct, Sarah, daughter of Inanna. Remember, export settings include visible, transform, apply, modifiers, all that. Do not check tangents, because that is optional. ASO correctly handles that. And we're going to do GLTF. Keep original. All right. Export our butt. Now, we're going to... Sarah is always correct. Not always. Not always. But sometimes. All right. Where's our file browser? Where is that? One moment. It's down here. Sorry. Let's go to meshes. We have our stone butt that we created. Stone. Okay. Where is my file? Okay. Here we go. Create entity with mesh. Now, where are we going to put this? I mean, could we just put it right here? That could be cool. Actually, yeah, let's literally just put it right here. And then we'll put some vegetation around it to kind of like hide some stuff. But I think this kind of works. I might want to use a different texture on it. Well, I mean, first of all, actually, we should save this. And then I'm going to... Where's my new entity, which I just created? Okay, okay. I'm gonna call this stone butt. Then I'm gonna add a collider, actually, because we need that. And then I'm gonna do shape from mesh. Save that. And now we should have some collision. There we go. So this is unclimbable. We can always add some thing to climb on near it, but for now that's fine. Sorry, where'd my window go? Here we go. All right, let's get a little bit Ramune. Yeah, I might be doing it wrong. It might literally be a skill issue because the marble keeps blocking my ability to drink it. Anyway, what was I saying? Cool. We have a little bit of a landmark now, hopefully. Because there's not that many of these. We should put something interesting at the foot of it. But let's see how far away we can see it from. Yeah, I hope this is going to be helpful, actually, now. It probably would be. Probably is, because we can see from all the way over here. We can see from all the way over here, too. So, like, literally just having that probably helps a lot. Even though it's just a rock. If there's only one of them. So, yeah, that's an important thing. Now that this is a landmark, it means we can only have one of them. Because as soon as you start duplicating stuff, it becomes a... Actually, we gotta fix this edge here. This is too sharp. As soon as you have multiple of them, they cease to be a useful landmark. Okay, so I think that's this edge right in here. Yeah. Yeah, that's too sharp. So I'm gonna just add a bevel on that. Cool. That looks good. Then we're gonna go ahead and export that so we can reload that. You say that, but Breath of the Wild towers are good landmarks. That is true. Although towers are a little bit different than just rocks. Like, I think because the tower is something that's like clearly man-made, like that's fine. Also because the landmarks all like they're not just landmarks. Like the Breath of the Wild towers also serve like a purpose, in the sense that like they're fast travel locations and you can see stuff from the top of them. Which actually would be a good reason that we would be able to get onto here. But anyway, sorry, I wanted to reload this. There we go. See, that looks much better. What was I saying? Yeah, but a better example in that game that this is related to would be like the Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks. Is it called Dueling Peaks? I think it's called Dueling Peaks. Twin Peaks is a David Lynch created TV show. Great show, but what was I gonna say? Dueling Peaks, I think it was called. In that game, which is based on a real place, by the way. I think in Japan. So I think we need some like if we look back at the reference here, you can see that there's a lot of shit around it. It's not just sticking up out of nowhere. So I think if we add some of these, I'm going to start with Cyathea arborea. Some of these guys. I think that's going to look good. Let's do a couple rotations here. Like, for these kind of things, I don't really want to use the procedural generation tool because the placement of these is kind of important because I'm trying to hide seams and things like that. So if I just did the procedural tool, it would kind of... it would place more of them than I think we need. Actually, we could put a... Should there be some on top? Probably not. Probably not. But we can kind of place that around here. I'm going to add these things. I can never remember the name. Nephropolis. Nephrolopus. Let's add a couple more of these. But yeah, mostly just around the base of this, because I think that's what we want. We're mostly just trying to hide this seam here at the bottom. More of these. Cyatheas. Then I think some smaller ferns. Even though it's called large fern, but just ignore that. Just keep these kind of just scattered around. No, that's not what I wanted. I wanted this one. And anthurium. Let's put a couple of these in here. All right, let's save. All right, let's. Why do I keep doing that? I would like to turn off that feature of KDE because it keeps. There we go. That looks pretty good. What is this hole we're falling into? Okay. I think we should be able to get onto the thing because I think that would be handy. Because if we go back to Vinny, he does tell us to take the thing up to a high place. So and because he's like right over here, down here, I think it would be nice. Actually, can we see the? Can we see? We can. So I think because he tells us to take the spyglass up to a high place, and that looks like an obvious high place, we should be able to get up to it. So, let me just have this here so we can have the Vinny music. Let's add something to climb on. Actually, which side of this do we want to add it onto? There's the small side here. So I think, yeah, let's actually cut little things that you can climb on right into it. So that's over here. So let's start by insetting these faces. Then I can pull them out. Go to normal here. Now, I think, I'm wondering if that's something you can grab onto. Let's find out. Export the GLTF. Let's actually take the player. And where's my, I got too many windows here. Player. Let's pop him in here. Let's reload this. And yeah, there we go. We can climb onto that. Beautiful. Now I just need to make more of those, and then we should be able to climb up the whole thing, which I think is good. All right, let's get into here. I'm going to inset this again. I'm going to start sliding some of these because, oopsies, that's not slide, that's inset. Let's move that along. And let's move global, and I'm going to do correct face attributes. Now, Export. GLTF. What? This would be a lot nicer if I could edit it in engine, but right now... Okay, so that's too tall, so that's too far up, so we can't climb that. But all we need to do is shift it down a little bit, and then we should be able to grab onto it. Okay, so... Make that totally flat. I'll fix the UV mapping in a bit, but actually, you know what? Let's do cut here. Yeah, triangulate that for a minute. Then export that. And reload. Now. Okay, there we go. We can climb onto that. Now we need another step. I'm gonna... Yeah, we'll climb horizontally, more or less, this way. So. Also, this is just a nice little bit of climbing gameplay to do. Because who doesn't like climbing? Yes. So yeah, I prefer doing inset as opposed to inset and then pull as opposed to extrude, just because I think it is a little bit more predictable. Yeah, I think I can pull that down. Jake's on-screen chat thing didn't pick up my comment because of the URL. Yeah, I don't think links work in my chat. Basically make the butt a Devil's Tower-like thing. Devil's Tower. Do I... I think that's probably what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to figure out... Oh, where is this? But yeah, that is kind of the idea. Where is this? Wyoming. All right. That's a state I'll probably never go to. Interesting. That is cool. Yeah. Wait, so it's just like one big rock, eh? That's crazy. I think it's kind of like, what is it? In Australia? This thing? Uluru? Yeah. Lots of big rocks around the world. But yeah, this is quite cool. Yeah, that is kind of the intention. It's a bit of magma that pushed up the the surrounding rock and cooled away. Surrounding work. What? Rock. Yes. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, like, I'm going to clean up the texturing for this a little bit later, but I think, what was I going to say? The texturing is, I might change the texture of this rock. It might not be left with this particular color of rock on it. I might change what color it is. Let's see. Woo. Is the weighted normal doing anything? Yeah, actually, the weighted normal is helping, but I do probably want to make these handholds a little bit more obvious. For that, I might need some special texturing, but we will see. Export as butt. Reload our butt. Okay, cool. Can we... Okay, there we go. That was a bit harrowing. So I think... Let's get back down here. Okay, so I think I need to make this come out horizontally more. What was I doing? Yeah. And then at the bottom, too, I'm going to pull it out as well. Just so that it's a little bit less random. Okay, cool. And now, I think we can literally just have a little bit of a slope coming out here. I'm going to cut here. Cut here and cut here. And then we're going to pull this section out. So this is a section that I think we're just going to walk up like just like that so that we can get around to the other side of this thing. That will be our pathway here. Once again, these all look... This looks very ugly, but I think I can fix that a little bit with a bevel. Now we don't need that edge in here. Bevel these two as well. Okay, that's starting to look all right. Would like to fix that, but okay, actually, here's what we can do. In more recent versions of Blender, I've noticed that you can actually just select some vertices and UV. Oh no. What if I do? Oh, I need to pin the other ones. So let's merge that. So I'm gonna select these guys. Gonna pin. Gonna select these ones. I'm gonna unpin. Then I'm going to unwrap. And there we go. It sort of cleaned it up. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, you should... If you pin your UVs in Blender, you can kind of unwrap small sections of them at a time, which is handy. Okay. Still quad. As we work on this, we might need to eventually add a LOD. I always learn a bit about Blender watching these streams. Well, I'm glad to have helped because, like, it did take me a long time to learn all these little things. Blender is, like, a very involved program. There's so many things you can do. But, so, yeah, I'm glad I can be educational because... It's like every time I watch somebody on YouTube or whatever doing Blender, I always learn something as well. Like the pin thing, I just recently learned that. That was not something I knew before. I learned that in like the last couple weeks. Yeah. That's just all 3D model. Yeah, no, I'm just using Blender as an example. Like if you do this in Maya or whatever, like Maya is also a complex program with a lot of things going on. So let's inset that. Whoopsies. Inset. Pull that outward. And I'm gonna delete these faces, and I'm going to fill these. Okay. Now. Now over here is probably the next jump section. So. Yeah, so you climb along this side, and then you're going to need to jump. Yeah, let's make you jump a gap here. It'll be at the same horizontal level, but it'll just be a jump. So, yeah, I'll make you climb all the way around. That'll be cool. Let's get it. I think that's probably good. That's probably within the realm of jump distance. I think we'll see. We'll find out once we get it in the game, but all the way this way. So hopefully we can jump that then. Also, let's pull that out of the bottom. So let's save this, export this, and let's get back in here and reload. Okay, so we can now jump onto here, climb up, walk along here, and now we need to jump. Okay, we jumped. Now I feel like we should go vertically. And now, instead of pulling outward, I'm going to cut in. So, I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to inset again. And this time, instead of... I'm going to pull inward. So, that should... there probably needs to be another... oopsies. Another cut along this way. Just to make it a little bit less stark. Okay, so now that can be pulled inward. Pull that outward a little bit. Okay, so save. Now I'm going to export that again. And reload. Okay, that's too high for us. So that needs to be pulled down. So we're gonna grab these faces and just move them downward. Like that. Then I can take that. Probably want to move that in a little bit. Okay. Export. The butt. Reload. Okay. Perfect. Perfect distance. So you can see that he just grabs onto it. Okay. And now I think we should go back this way. So. And I realized that in Breath of the Wild, which is the game that we keep mentioning, I would not need to do any of this, or the devs didn't need to do any of this to make things climbable. Things were just always climbable, which, you know, is fine, but I kind of didn't want to go that route, particularly for this game. But, you know, it is a valid strat. Okay, so let's fix these UVs. So I'm going to unpin, then, whoopsies, need to select everything in there. Why did that, maybe I need to pin more of them. Pin. I guess I should pin some of these ones at the top too. Pin. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Now I'm gonna move this guy too. We want to move on bounding box center. I'm gonna pin him. Then do that again. There we go. That's a better distribution. Cool. What was I doing? Okay, so I want to go back this way. I'm going to take this, and I am going to, is it, oh, Alt-E? Extrude manifold? Okay, that's probably not what I wanted to do, actually. I didn't want to do that. I guess I'm going to push this way. Then I can have a section that juts out. So I'm going to inset again. And I'm going to pull out here. Add another layer in there, but these can be merged. Oopsies, that was too much. I want to merge just these two. Okay, now, hopefully I can grab onto that from where I'm at. And then we'll be very close to the top. I want to delete this face. It's not really doing much. And then merge those two vertices in here. And then I can fix the UVs there. Okay. Now, let's go back. Export. GLTF. There's some weird UV mapping here, which I'm going to need to fix. But, yeah. Can I just select everything? Okay, that's better. That's better. That's better. I just needed to select all the vertices. Even the ones that were pinned. Okay. Cool. Having a little bit of camera issues here. The camera doesn't work super well with mesh colliders. Okay. And then we're so close to the top now. So one thing I want to do is go back this way. Actually, this needs to be pushed in, I think. Hopefully that'll help. And I can probably push this into more. Okay, cool. Now, let's see if we still got anything we're standing on. Because I just modified the little segment that we were standing on. Okay, that's good. Can we still get up there? Yes, and it's actually better for the camera too. So, very close now. We're so close. We just need one more little section to get up to the top. And then we can start using it as a lookout point. So, gonna select that. Gonna inset again, both of these now. Move them inward. And then move this guy inward. Gonna remove the seam here. Gonna keep pulling that down. Okay, this is almost where I want it now. So now, I'm not sure I'm in love with this topology, so let's clean up some of that. Because I actually don't think we need all of these edges. Oopsies, that's not what I wanted to do. In fact, I wanted to do the opposite of that. Actually, I want to reverse the direction of that triangulation here. So, then I'm going to remove this. Then, why can't I select that vertex? Okay, there we go. Yeah, you can't always select things in with shaded mode on. You have to go to wireframe sometimes. Can I clean up some of this? I guess yeah, it's fine for now. Let's unwrap this now. Go back to here with our see what we have pinned. Gonna unpin a bunch of these. Then we can select this all. UV unwrap. Unpin that. Unpin that. Merge that. Now pin that. Pin that. Select and then unwrap again. Cool. Now I think we should be able to get to the top. Okay, export. Our butt. Reload the butt. And we're here. We're at the top, more or less. Okay. Apparently not quite, because there's still one more hurdle. I mean, we can kind of do it, but I'll make it just a slope so that we can just gently walk right into it, I think. We won't need to do any more jumping at this point. So, yeah. We'll just slope it up like that. I should have left the keep connected on. I'm gonna do by distance and then shared vertex. And that's gonna, yeah, that's actually a handy tool. You can just merge all the ones that got moved around that are together by doing merge by distance and then checking shared vertex. So it only merges the ones that actually share the same vertex in the in the position, like in the 3D mode, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, cool. Now, actually I'm gonna move that up, move that up, and now we should have a nice slope we can walk along. Do I not have, I don't have keep connected set. That's a problem. But anyway, we can fix that while there. Okay, so now, export GLTF, stone butt. Now we can, oh, I thought we could walk up, but apparently it's a little tough. So there's a little bit of a weird bump there, so we will need to flatten that. It's looking fine. Yes, everybody loves how my butt looks. Okay, so that. I really wish there was like a straighten thing in, if I could just straighten these vertex, because you can straighten in 2D, but I can't. Making smooth vertices now. Smooth vertices Laplacian. Okay, that doesn't seem to do much. Like, I just want to have these in a straight line. I guess what I can do is I can dissolve these. I can just dissolve the edges, and then that will be definitionally straight. Which is what I'm going to do, actually. Okay, cool. So, yeah, that's definitely flat now. And I think this should be triangulated. And then that is now quad here. Then I want to pull this guy down a little bit. Okay, this guy should also be quadified. So I triangulate it, and then I dissolve this vertex. Or dissolve that edge, I guess. Okay, so let's export this. We can reload. Okay, now it's very, very easy to walk up and down. All right. Beautiful. Now we are at the top of the butt. We can see all of the landmarks, pretty much. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the bottom and just double check that I can... Oopsies, almost died there. Double check that I can actually climb the thing from the beginning. So we start over here. Going this way. Walk up, walk up. Okay, now there's a jump. Okay, we hit the jump. Go up here. Up here. Up here. Also perfect place for a note or a chest. Yeah, no, there probably will be one. There probably... Actually, why don't we add one right now? So, let's add a... Let's add a chest. Up here. I should add a little bit of a, let's add a little bit of a depression so that you can't see the chest from the ground. Because if you know that the chest is up here, then that's not as fun. So I think if I just pull this down a little bit. A little bit of a trough for the chest to sit in. Let's inset this one as well. I should delete this face. Delete that face. And let's fill in stuff this way. And then we're going to UV unwrap that. But yeah, okay. Export GLTF. Now, let's reload this. Oh, UVs are a bit odd, but anyway. That should prevent us, hopefully, from seeing the chest from the ground. But, I should make it flat as well. So, take this. Scale Z0. Once again, incorrect axis. Blender. Oh, that's weird. Why is it connected? Oh, it's because did I get rid of one of the seams? Am I missing a seam here? Unpin. Maybe it's because of the pins. Yeah, it was the pins, I think. Cool. Let's export that again. No, not FBX. Nobody ever wants FBX. Okay. Export. But cool. Okay, so this is okay, this is our chest, and I am going to add a, let's put a coin in there, just for now. So I will let's do a doubloon. So I'm gonna take this. No, let's do a piece of 8. Piece of 8. I can't spell. Gonna duplicate this piece of 8, which is 40. Yeah, okay. So now we go to this the chest. We're gonna override the component here so that we can add the piece of 8, which shows up here because the last thing we added. Okay, so now this piece of 8 is in this chest. We can save it, and now, is everything saved? There we go. We got a piece of 8. Great. Okay, so now let's quit out of here so we can see all this during the daytime. Nope. A little bit of a water gap there because we it was nighttime when we saved all the positions of every object. Okay, so we can see our big stone butt. So let's climb up there and get our So it serves as a land. Actually, let's get our spyglass from Vinny first. All right, Vinny, what's up? All right. Oh, is he gonna attack me? Oh my god, this friggin' get out of here. Okay. Okay. Get the okay, the sorcerer guy, blah blah blah. I actually don't need to ask him, I can just click buy. So he's getting our spyglass, and then we're gonna go up to the stone butt. All right, what's up, Vinny? You got something for me? Spyglass, great. Very far away. Try going to a high place and looking through it. All right. You never know the kinds of things you might see. So there's a high place right over here. So let's go check that out. And it was very important that we could see the high place from there. We actually might want to... I'm going to do this later, but we might want to get rid of this hill just so we can, as we're getting up to the high place, we can actually see it still. Okay, so I'm going to assume people come from this side. I will need to edit some of this right here. I'm going to assume people come from this side because this is the closest side to where you would be coming from. But if you do come from this side, there is nowhere to climb, but I assume what you would do is you would just look around. I'm going to assume players will look around, because you will find this. I do need to edit the normals to make this look a little bit more stark, so that it's more obvious of a handhold, but it does serve the purposes for the moment. I think if I just bevel the edge a bit, that will do it. Oh, shit, I went too far. That's fine. I just got to be more careful. Okay. There we go. Climb up. Climb up. Then I can get the chest. I knew you'd come here. I can take the spyglass, use that, and... Oh, those guys are paused. I need to deal with that, probably. Alright. Interesting, interesting. We have a fire over here. Cool. And can we see the ship from here? We can see the ship from here, which is perfect. We can see... Ooh, there's a chest over there. We can see... fort. What am I... Okay, this needs to come down, because this is blocking our field of view. But I can... Yeah, let me quickly do that. Alright, let's pull that down just slightly there. And then I'm going to add some bevels to... I still have my weighted normal on, and the weighted normal is going to do the magic here. But, okay, so this is how we first get up. So, I'm going to take a bevel in here. And, actually, you know what? It might be easier if I do a bevel modifier. So that is just a straight... Actually, we might just do a straight bevel without any... But I would need to change the amount by... Yeah, literally just a straight bevel actually looks pretty good. So here's the with and without the bevel. I think it looks a lot better with the bevel, I think. But let's see what that does. Yeah, it doesn't add that much geometry. Actually, that looks really good, even just the, although I probably don't want that to be beveled. So, I'm going to make this... I'm going to manually bevel this, because I want it to be rounded more. Get rid of that. Yeah, I think that's good. I think that looks pretty good. So, that should make the handholds easier to see as well, because actually, you can see the weighted normal actually works a lot of magic on this here. It sort of makes all the angles look a little bit more angular. Yeah, and then anywhere where I don't want to bevel, I can manually come in here and add some more geometry. Or I could, yeah, I don't know, it's fine. Okay. Pull that out. Cool. Let's export that now. GLTF. But I'd love some vines hanging off the ledges. We can do that, actually. Let's reload. All right, let's go down here. Ouch. Let's quit here for a second because I messed with too much stuff. Geez, it's 3:50. I'm gonna go for a tiny bit longer. We're gonna stream for just a little bit longer, just so I can get these vines in that Sarah mentioned, because I think it would be nice to have those. Because I did start a bit late. I started a bit late today, so we can be for a couple more minutes here. So let's do we have vines? Yeah, let's duplicate that. Let's put that here. What do we got? That's... Whoopsies. Probably not the one that I wanted. Do we have prefabs for these things? For the vines? Okay, what's vine 0? This is what I think Sarah wanted. So I'm going to use this. I think that looks pretty good. And vines 1. I think that's the kind of thing. Let's rotate this, though. Just so it doesn't look so... Wait, where's mine? Yeah. Cool. Let's rotate that. Probably don't want to overdo it. But let's add one more. Let's add the wall vine here. Just kind of in between some stuff. I'm not sure how I want that to look, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure where I want this one to go. Well, I guess I could put it underneath. Underneath one of the things would be good. So, I actually do think the pivot point for this is kind of weird. It shouldn't. Look at the time. I know it is late. But I think I'm gonna stay on for just a tiny bit longer as soon as I get this done. Because I started a little bit late. Okay. Now. All right, just pull that in a tiny bit. Pull that across, probably. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of works. Let's save that for now. Okay, what does it look like from our perspective here? Oopsies. Oh yeah, also we can sidle along here. Actually, you know what? We should probably have a section that is just that. But yeah, we can do that on a different. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, now we're at the top here. We can see all the things we want. And, cool. Well, that is what I wanted to accomplish. So now it is unfortunately past 4 o'clock. I do actually need to do things today. So I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. And do not forget that below this video, you can like and subscribe, which is a great thing to do because it helps YouTube know that you like the video and that you want to see more of it. Thank you for tuning in. Another thing is, don't forget that you can join the Discord and wishlist the game on Steam. Wishlisting is really important for the same reason subscribing is important, because it lets Steam know that you're interested in this game and you'd like to see more of it. So, yeah, wishlist on Steam. Like and subscribe, and join the Discord if you're not already a member. It is great. We have a lot of fun. We talk about the game, talk about upcoming streams, what we might want to do, and you can get access to the game if you ask nicely on the Discord. You can get a game key for the playtest. Yeah, and yeah, that's all about I have to say here. And I will see you guys all next week. Thank you, and have a good afternoon or night if you guys live in Europe, which I know a lot of you do. So yeah, all right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.